Hey everybody, Derek here to bring another video for Z Nation. And this video is going to be doing my predictions video for Murphy. I want to thank Jackson Voss for the recommendation to do this video. I realized that some of my videos on Murphy were a little out of date. They were before the trailer came out, and some were before we even knew about anything about Season 2. So I appreciate the suggestion, and if you guys have any other suggestions that you would like for me to do before Z Nation, Walking Dead, or Fear the Walking Dead starts, don't be afraid to suggest anything. I really do appreciate all of your support, and anybody that's been watching my videos, I do thank you, and I want to make this channel for you guys, so if there's any suggestions that you guys have, do not be afraid to suggest them. And I'm going to get this video started. Just in case you guys are not caught up with Z Nation, this video will contain spoilers. Okay, so, back in Season 1, I mean, Murphy really was the whole point of the show, and still is. The goal is to get him to California, where a lab is, to extract the cure from his bloodstream to cure this zombie virus epidemic. And Murphy has been the person that has carried this virus, but we noticed that along the way, we got to know a lot about Murphy. We know that Murphy doesn't really like to be told what to do. He is a little bit lazy. We do know that he does, have a little bit of a camaraderie with the group. He does grow to, like them, and he knows that they're there for them, and he does have their back at times. And we also know that he is growing in power. He has the ability to influence zombies. He has the ability to control people if he bites them or maybe spits in their water. If he gets some of his DNA inside them, it seems that he can control them. And of course, he has the ability to transfer the virus potentially, or the cure, which we saw with Cassandra. But when we ended up getting to the lab, which was in Colorado, they had to divert their plan. We found that he met up with Dr. Kurian. The group meets up with him. They realize that he's a bioweapons dealer, very dangerous person. And of course, Murphy feels very betrayed, very upset by what's going on. He thought this was going to be about the cure, and he feels like Citizen Z and everybody's been lying to him this whole time. So he leaves, he sheds his skin, and he sets off the nukes, which is, where we're at this point in the story. So what's going to happen with Murphy this season? Well, obviously only time will tell, but based on the trailer and a couple of other thoughts I have, I'm going to give at least an idea of where he's going to be when we first come back. And if you watch the Season 2 trailer, which is available on the Sci-Fi website, you will see that Murphy really hasn't lost any of his charisma, his sarcasm, the way that he is. I call them Murphyisms. I mean, he always has that sarcastic, approach to things, always has something to say. And, the first thing that you see is Murphy saying, "It's the apocalypse, let's have some fun." And, Cassandra standing next to him and smiling. And, of course, we do notice that, his skin, since he shed his skin, he has blue skin. Like, it's a very bluish, darkish color, which really resembles more of a zombie in a sense. It reminds me more of those zombies in some of those older films. So I think that when we come back, Murphy, I think he's pretty much going to be done with the mission at first. I think he's had it with the way that everything's been. He feels like he's been lied to. He feels like this was all for nothing. And I really think that right now, Murphy, he may think that he's dying. I think that that's a very good possibility. And even if he's not, I think that he just doesn't want to spend his days doing what other people want him to do. You notice that over the last, maybe year of his life, he has been, being dragged around with Hammond. He's been dragged around by the group. He's been, exposed to danger along the way on this mission. He's basically been told what he's going to do, when he's going to do it, and that's not something that he likes. And I think that this is really the first freedom that he's had in a long time, and I think he's going to take advantage of that. I think he's going to want to go out and party and just, be lazy, which we see in the trailer, because when he makes that statement, he's inside of what I think to be a bar, and I'm assuming that there's a strip club also inside of it, because we see a scene where Addie kills a zombie in a strip club, and I think that's where he's at. Plus, you notice Cassandra's more provocative clothing that she's wearing. I think that really Murphy just he feels like, hey, it's the end of the world. I'm just going to treat myself and I'm just going to, chill. So I think that, we may see him when we come back. He'll be, controlling zombies. Cassandra will be with him. They're just going to party it up. I can see it right now. Murphy having a zombie bring him a drink, or, if there are zombie strippers, he may have the zombies dancing on the poles for him. Cassandra may dance on the poles for him if he can control her, which that's another thing I really do wonder about is, will he be controlling Cassandra, or is Cassandra there on her own free will, or is it a little of both? But I think that's where we're going to find Murphy at first, is that he's just going to want to have fun. This is the first opportunity that he's had, and I just think that he's done with the mission and everything about it. However, I think that the fun and games are going to be over, very soon. I don't know how long it's going to take for the group to actually connect back up with Murphy. I would not be surprised if that took an episode or two. I don't know if it's going to happen immediately, because there's a lot of things that we have to do. We have to get Addie and Mac, linked back up with the group, and that does happen before they meet up with Murphy, if I'm not mistaken. So you have all this going on, and you notice that there's a scene where Murphy and Cassandra are walking away from the group. They have this like big umbrella. They're looking like some rich couple, walking down the street. Murphy's got that suit jacket on, and the group is running after them. Now, there's no dialogue in there, but what I think is going on here is I think that the group does have this idea of wanting to get back to the mission and, continue on. But I don't think that Murphy wants to. I think that Murphy's had it with the mission, like I said. And I think that when the group does catch up to him, he's not going to want to, go on any more journeys with them. I think that he's just going to say, look, you guys can't do anything. You can't say anything to convince me. Look, I'm done. Just leave me alone. And I think that it's going to take the group's part of it is their persuasion to get him to come along. But I think in another way, he's also going to be forced into it, because as you know, there are going to be a lot of people after Murphy in this season. That's been confirmed, that people are hunting for Murphy, because Citizen Z is putting out that, message to everybody that's listening, because he has that radio. And he says, find Murphy, and we need to cure the zombie virus, and we need to get this world back in running order. And I think that people are going to be after Murphy. And of course, it may also be for more reasons than just finding a cure. We may see that people have their own selfish reasons for going after him. Vasquez, of course, is going to be after him, but it makes me wonder if he has somebody else that he's working for, which I would not be surprised if it was for a Scorpion. Both of them are they seem to be from Mexican, Latino, Central America territory. And we do know that Mexico is going to be featured in season 2. So I'm assuming that a Scorpion, the character being played by Emilio Rivera, may be going back and forth across the border. Or we may not confront him until they go down to Mexico for whatever reason. So we may have, a Scorpion wanting him for particular reasons, which we don't know because we don't know much about his character. And then I've also heard a rumor that we might see what's left of the United States government. So they might want him for something. And of course, Dr. Kurian. Now, we know that Dr. Kurian probably wants him for reasons not related to the cure. Like, we think that he was using the virus for something other than making zombies, and it just, totally backfired. I mean, how many times has that happened? Where you set out to make one thing, and you totally make something different. Hey, penicillin was discovered by accident. That, the zombie virus could easily be done the same way. And I think that really what it's going to come down to is, people going after Murphy for all sorts of reasons. I think it's going to become clear to him that he's going to need to stick with Warren and the rest of the group. Because if there's one thing that we know, I think that, Warren's group is going to want to get a legitimate cure. And that's something that I think Murphy can agree with. It's just a matter of them finding the people that are in line with what they want to do. Because again, obviously Dr. Kurian does not want him for that. So I think that really Murphy is going to have to go back to the group out of necessity, because he needs somebody to protect him. Sure, he can control zombies and sure he can control people, but until his powers get more powerful, which we do know that he's still transforming. Pasay Powell, who plays Cassandra, confirmed that there's still going to be transformations with Murphy. So what exactly he's going to become, we don't know. But it's clear that even if Murphy did have some powers, they're still limited in many ways, and it always helps to have a group. So I think that when we see him in that scene at the end of the trailer, when he's with those individuals in dock, he's a stewardess. Is there going to be snack service on this flight? I think that this is basically the moment where Murphy realizes that these individuals are going to protect him, because we see the truck driving down the highway being chased by people, and being Cassandra jumps on the back of the car and rips one of the individuals, throats out, or at least bites the person. And I think that that moment is going to be clear to Murphy that, hey, I need to stick with these guys. So I think that he's going to be presented with that particular dilemma throughout, is, what is my future? What exactly is going to happen to me? Not only, my body, because obviously that's going through changes, and it really does make you wonder if they are on a limited amount of time, that Murphy may die. I mean, if it does happen, I don't think it'll happen in season 2, but what if he really is, slowly dying? That's one possibility. But not just that, but what do these people want me for, and what am I going to do? Because in Murphy's Law, when those individuals wanted him to go get the drugs, it shows that people want, whatever he can be used for. If it's going to get drugs, if it's, hey, I want you to go here and do this for me. I want you to get rid of these zombies. I want you to do this and this and this. Or we want your toxins, your antibodies, the virus. We want that from you so we can do this and that. Obviously, Murphy is going to be, pulled in a lot of directions, and how he handles these situations will be very interesting, because I don't think that after realizing what Currian can do, I don't think that he wants to just throw himself out there to anybody, and I think that he's going to be very cautious this season, and he's going to need to be, and the group is definitely going to need to be there to protect him along the way. And of course, the other thing that is really interesting is that it's been confirmed that Pie Girl from Sisters of Mercy is coming back, and she's going to be pregnant with his child. And that could throw in a very big spin into the story, because thinking about Murphy as a father figure, that's kind of a little far-fetched. No offense to Murphy, but I mean, he just does not seem like the kind of person that I would want to leave a child with to care for, because I mean, he just doesn't have that drive to want to take care of things. We see that, most of the time he would sit back, put himself on a pedestal and say, hey, if I'm the cure, you guys got to do everything for me. And I think that's just the kind of person that he is. I mean, it is what it is, but I just can't see him taking care of a child. And, when it comes to her coming back, what's going to happen? Will the baby survive? Will it be born? How long is it going to take? And if I had to make my best guess, I don't think Pie Girl is going to survive that. I just think that her being pregnant with a zombie baby, I think there's a very good chance that it may be sucking the life force out of her, that it may have infected her with the virus, and it may do some things to her. So throwing that into the mix really makes me wonder if this is going to change Murphy as a character. Because even though he may not be responsible now, the whole story can, change. I mean, there's various individuals who, you wouldn't think would make good father figures, but once it happens, they step up to the plate. And I have to wonder if Murphy will grow an attachment to this child. And also, will people be after the child and Cassandra and Murphy, and maybe use that as leverage? Because that's one of the things that you have to wonder, is that if Murphy, may not be able to be taken advantage of, he might be able to fend people off. Could Cassandra and the baby do the same thing? And if they can't, that could be used against Murphy. So it's really going to be testing Murphy a lot, to see how he's going to deal with this child coming into the world, What's his relationship with Cassandra going to be like, and will he do anything for her since they are going through the same dilemma? And then, of course, what is going to happen? Will they eventually get to a lab? Is he going to cooperate? And how much is he going to help the group as well? I think those are a lot of questions that as we go along in the season, they will be answered. But I really think that Murphy, we're going to see him in more of a cautious state where he's going to be relying on the group a lot. And I think that as his powers grow, he may start to learn more things about himself. He may be able to defend himself better, but he may also become a bigger threat, which could potentially put others in danger. So I'm very interested to see what is going to happen. And along the way, as we go along through season 2 and we see these developments, I will definitely make more videos updating my predictions. But that's how I think it's going to start out. And I think those are some of the themes that we're going to see throughout the season. So with that, I'm going to bring this video to a close. I want to thank all of you guys for watching. If you guys have any questions or comments, don't be afraid to leave them. Feel free to subscribe. I do have more videos coming. If there are any suggestions that you guys have, like I said, thank you again, Jackson, for your suggestion. But if anybody else has any suggestions, you may absolutely feel free to suggest videos. I do appreciate all of your guys' support and gals as well, and I really hope you all have a wonderful evening. Thank you.